Welcome to another edition of Resounded Glory. I'm Bob McElligott, and today we're going to talk about two types of football, American football, and we'll do a little bit of soccer as well. I'm joined right now by head football coach Brad Birchfield and Nick Onega, a senior captain on the football team. And first of all, guys, let's talk about last week. You opened the season with a loss at Toledo Central Catholic, a game, Brad, that you were in right until the very end, losing 31-28. Last week we talked about what a tough game it was going to be and a big challenge for your team. How did the team handle the challenge?
I think they handled it well so far. I mean, it was a hostile environment. You know, it was two of the best teams in Ohio. It was a great football game. Depending on what part you saw either some back and forth or some dominating play on either side. I mean, it was as advertised. Great passes, great catches, great defense, great runs. I mean, both teams were fantastic. I really believe, you know, the series we played them, if we played them 10 times, it'd be about 5-5.
Nick, was it disappointing because you're coming off the state championship last year, there's all the hype during training camp, you're getting ready, and you get that first game and you come up just a little bit short?
Well, I believe it was disappointing, but I believe that this game, kind of gave us some more motivation and some drive to really focus on what's important week by week and the ultimate end goal, the state championship. We are going to focus week by week on our, fundamentals and personal goals.
Well, and let's face it, you didn't start the season with a cupcake on the schedule. I mean, You went up against a good quality team that was in the state semis last year in Division III. So as a player, does it help you to start against that kind of competition to really set the tone early?
Oh, yeah, of course. It's always good to play one of the best teams in the state your first game and get a feel for, how the state championship's going to be. So
you look at the game, as I mentioned, 31-28, so there were a lot of points scored on both sides. What things have you focused on this week to either change or improve upon that you saw where you might have had some flaws last week?
Yeah, they have a great running back going anywhere he wants in the country and a very prolific player. And, we had him wrapped up a couple times. He squirmed away, so we got to get back and refocus because we play a great quarterback, although he's playing running back this week. So we've got to do a great job tackling. So we've challenged our kids to get a great number of tackles during the week and prepare in perfect fundamentals.
Nick, let's talk about tackling because you do some of that too. So for weeks, you're tackling your own teammates, and then all of a sudden you got to go out and do it against other guys. Yeah. Nice to kind of get that out of the way and just go after guys, isn't it?
Oh, very nice. You get to play with your teammates. You get to find your chemistry as a team, as an offense, and just it's a little bit different whenever you're hitting other people. You want to hit them harder, and you got more of a drive.
You had about 80 yards last week on the ground. Were you happy with your own personal performance?
I don't really care about my personal performance. I care more about our team, and I want to get a W. That's most important for our program. Now,
this week you're going to take on a team that you've never faced in Central Crossing, another team you added to the schedule this year. You get to play a little bit closer to home this time. When you look at them, what do you have to be most prepared for?
We're really excited to play them. A great OCC team. We've been in the playoffs last 2 years. It's a really costly game for us because they're a Division I team. So for our goals later in the year, this is a really big game for us. They have a great quarterback, 3-year starter Derek Williamson, who is a fantastic player, son of a coach. He's really helped. He's been the front figure in helping rebuild that program. And he's a great player. He's about 220 pounds. I mean, he's a fantastic runner, really a bull in a china shop type runner. So we got to do a great job of tackling him. I mean, a fantastic job tackling him.
And offensively, what do you guys have to do? 28 points last week. Again, that's a pretty good day offensively, but what do you hope to get done?
Well, definitely limit our penalties. We had 5 penalties overall as a team, but limit our penalties and also stay on our blocks and just focus on what the coaches tell us to do and our fundamentals.
When you talk about penalties, week 1, you tend to see a lot of penalties from teams. Did you feel that was kind of the case there?
Yeah, well, you hit on that a little bit that, the best part about week 1 is it's done because you don't really know what kind of team you have or you don't know how you would compete. If we played somebody lesser, maybe we'd feel different about ourselves, but there's nothing like finding out a little bit about yourself. Between those two teams, so us and Toledo Central Catholic, there were 0 turnovers in the game. So I would challenge how many week 1 games in Ohio had 0 turnovers between two teams. So that tells you the quality of game. I wish we didn't have 5 penalties. 5 penalties probably isn't too egregious, but gosh, they were in a couple critical situations that would have made a little bit of a difference, we think.
You guys have both talked about where you want to be at the end. It's not where you are at the beginning; it's where you are at the end. And when you're scheduling these teams, semifinalists in Division III, a Division I team, is it to set that tone early?
Yeah, I mean we're trying to win them all. We're going out at every game, doing everything we can to win the game. But we've had several state championships here. None of them have ever been on undefeated teams. In fact, there's stories to all those teams of great adversity that they saw and had to overcome. So a loss is certainly not great adversity. I mean, it's a learning point. But we certainly scheduled those things in mind. You don't want to play it razor thin where you have to do this, but you want to say, hey, we got to get some of these and learn from some of those.
All right, Coach Nick, thank you very much, and best of luck this week when the Hawks take on Central Crossing. Well, now let's turn our attention to some varsity soccer here at Bishop Hartley, where the Hawks have gotten their season underway, joined by Chris Kowalski, who's the head coach, and Justin Gallant, who's a midfielder, is with me right now. And Chris, last year your team went deep into the playoffs. You lost a lot of seniors. You come back this year, though, with another senior-laden team. And how happy have you been with the start of your season?
We're off to a great start. We've gotten a positive result in each of our three games up to this point. We returned a lot. We lost about half and half in terms of the starters from last year's team. So while we bring back a lot of experience, we're still trying to find kind of that perfect chemistry. Got a lot of the returning guys in new positions and kind of taking some of the leadership roles that some of our seniors had last year. So thrilled with the progress and where we're standing right now, but we certainly have a lot that we still need to fix, moving forward as we get into a pretty big, important time of our schedule, not only in Division II, but with the CCL opening up next week as well.
Well, and Justin, I want to ask you, just what have you guys found out about yourselves here in these first couple of games? Are you settled in?
I think we're really reaching that point. I really think we are getting closer. I think this game against Granville tomorrow is going to be our real test. But really through the preseason, we've been training hard and competing every single day and every chance we've got. And I really think we are settling in. And I think we can make a good run this year, too.
You've started off the season pretty well yourself with 5 goals so far this year, but is it more about the team than it is about you?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, I can't get those 5 goals by myself. It's all to them. We're brothers on the field. We're fighting for each other, and we make each other better.
Well, Justin talked about the Granville game. That is a big game on your schedule, especially when you go back to last season. It makes it a bigger game, doesn't it?
Yes, no, absolutely. I mean, that's who we faced in the district finals. Anytime we play Coach King and Granville, it's a knockdown, drag-out kind of game all the way through. Hostile environment out there. Their student section is usually really loud and kind of in your face the whole game. So it's a wonderful atmosphere. It's a big pitch. It's a grass pitch. So we're, with the long travel, just have to be as physically as mentally ready to go and face a great team.
All right, your coach talks about the crowd in Granville. You're the guy that's got to be on the field, actually facing that crowd. Is it? Do you like to be in those hostile situations? Does that kind of get the juices flowing more as a player?
I do, yeah. It fuels me because really, once we score a goal, I love to hear the silence, and that's what we push for. So that hostile environment invites me to do better. It really does fuel us. So if we keep mentally strong, I think there should be no problems. And so.
Well, and then you've got that, and it's obviously a big game. And then you'll go right into next week in the league opener when you're going to take on DeSales, and you'll actually do that right here on your home pitch. How big is that game?
Oh, it's so big. I mean, Hartley's never beat DeSales. I've tied them my freshman year, lost in the next 2 years. We all really want this game to be a win, and there's no other option. So, and it really is. They're a great team. Winning 2-time state championships, that's a big deal. So we're excited to really put our name out there, say we beat them.
How much do you like to hear that as a coach, that drive from your players?
Oh, it's fantastic. I mean, Coach Romanelli does a fantastic job. It really is a gold standard kind of program, and it's an honor to be in the same league with them. But with that, we are never content. We're always pushing, whether it's the defending state title or someone that we beat last year. Every game is important. All right, this one you add a little extra something to it because it's a league game, right? And there's only so many league games, and that's bragging rights for an entire year in terms of the CCL title that we've been fortunate enough to win just once at this point. So our guys are grounded, they're focused, and we're taking one game at a time. So it's kind of nice to lump a couple of these together just so there's no kind of downtime in between. We're going to get up for Thursday, and then we're going to be right there for Tuesday as well, coming back home.
Do you like that schedule? The fact that you're going to play 2 games that are so big, you can't get caught looking past the game for a rivalry game.
Right. No, I don't know if I like Labor Day being off necessarily, just to get guys out of their routine. But it's not going to be difficult to keep the mental focus and preparation up, for where we need to be. So we've got a couple days off in between. We'll be able to kind of rehydrate, get the bodies ready physically and mentally to go. But yeah, I kind of like the back-to-back mentality, because in the end, that projects towards the end of the season and the playoffs, where once you get in that tournament, every single game is like that, only 2-3 days away. And so it's a great projection of where we hope to be at the end of October.
Well, Coach, thank you very much. Justin, thank you. 2 big games at Granville on Thursday, and then Tuesday at home, the big rivalry game against DeSales. That'll do it for this week's edition of Resounded Glory. I'm Bob McElligott.